Army, my little brother is in the Navy, and my other brother is in the Air Force.
Thank you.
So, guns have always been a requirement in our family. From the time we were 3 years old, we got our first BB gun. At 7, we got a 22. If we didn't know how to use it by 8, Grandpa showed us the woodshed. In 2005, my husband decided that he was going to become a correctional officer. He's right over here at work right now, or he would be here, believe me. We were moved to Umatilla, which is where the state of Oregon takes their sex offenders. I had 3 small children at the time, 2 boys and 1 girl, all under the age of 12. My husband decided, well, I'm going to bid on graveyard. How many wives know that really sucks? We have Glocks, 22s, 12 gauge, you name it, we've got it in our house. I have a CHL. My husband has a CHL. I figured there's no way I am ever gonna need this thing. Never. 2:45 in the morning of August 16th, 2006, my daughter came into my room and said, "Mom, somebody's in the house." I reached over, threw on my bathrobe, grabbed my husband's Glock out of the nightstand, and I tell you what, the minute that SOB heard that sucker cock, he was right back out the door. That was the last time I'd ever had to pick up a gun for self-defense. I hunt, I skeet shoot, I target shoot, and I just generally go and plink and have fun. All 3 of my children know how to use a gun in self-defense. They know how to use a gun to hunt. And I encourage every mom, grandma, and aunt out there, if you have a granddaughter, a niece, a daughter, show her how to use a gun. Show her how to use it properly. If you're not sure, take her to some of these wonderful gentlemen back here that teach it for a living. I will never, ever know what could have happened that night. And God bless America, I won't ever have to.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for coming out today. I know it's cold, and you can be proud of yourself that you made the effort and that you're here and that we're all speaking about the things that are near and dear to us. I first became interested in firearms when I was 4 years old. My father never owned any guns, but he bought a black and white TV back in 1954. And am I not loud enough? Okay. Anyway, he bought a black and white TV in 1954, and I remember watching a program with 3 or 4 guys who were gun collectors. And of course, I watched Rin Tin Tin and the Cisco Kid and various things like that many of you are smiling about and can remember. Over the time, I've been a gun collector, a shooter, a hunter, a reloader, a competitor, and I'm as deep into this as any of you are. And I'm very disturbed by the attack that we are under by other people. And we have an opportunity as we go forward from today as to how we conduct ourselves and how we can maybe sway some of the people that are on the other side of the fence right now to take another look at it. Now think of yourself. When someone brings up a topic that you're not familiar with or that you may have emotional feelings about, how do you feel if they're yelling at you or not letting you talk or just beating you up? That generally doesn't go over very well. And I encourage all of us, when we're talking, we're going to go home here this afternoon and hopefully stop at one of these restaurants on the way, but we're going to go home and we're going to be with our families, we're going to be with our friends, we're going to be with our neighbors. Those of you that are fortunate enough to have jobs are going to go back to work on Monday. And this is something that we'll be talking about. Now this morning, before I came down here, I had my usual 3 cups of coffee and read the Oregonian. I saw, as best I can recall, there were either 2 or 3 articles dealing with this topic again. And I have, I'm 60, I had my 63rd birthday 10 days ago. Thank you very much. This is the best present of all coming here. So, at any rate, we're going to go back and we're going to be talking to people, and we're all fired up, and we have all the facts and figures and so on and so forth. It's important that we be educated, but it's also important that we take into account the lack of knowledge that other people may have, and also the strong feelings that they may have. Now, I mentioned earlier the Oregonian. There were a couple of articles in the Oregonian that were all over this topic. I have never seen anything that has been like a brainwash like this has been. This morning there were the articles. There were 10 letters to the Oregonian editor in the editorial section. All 10 of them were on the opposite side of the fence from us. So I'm kind of wondering, I mean, do we just not write letters to the editor, or do they not publish all letters? I don't know which. You know? Okay, but in any event, when we go home, let's have intelligent conversations with the friends, the neighbors, the relatives, and so on and so forth. I mean, I'm like everybody else. I can get hot under the collar about this topic because it is in my blood. And when I do that, I shoot myself in the foot. And so I encourage all of us to be reasonable and treat others the way that you would like to be treated. Off the top. Yeah.
Talk about the importance of training, but I think that Michelle, she covered the bases pretty good. You know, come on over here, babe. Give me a couple minutes.
Hi,
Go ahead.
my name is Laura Ledford. I teach down in Roseburg, the Roseburg Rod and Gun Club. I teach firearms instructions for men and women. A lot of the people we teach are there for different reasons. Some have fear of guns, never shot before. Husband would like him to get interested. Others have been in dangerous situations that didn't turn out well for them, and they're there for another reason. We have people at the door of this classroom to keep these ladies safe. We also teach outside the home. A lot of holster work once they pass through the inside the home and learn how to make their home a safer place. Not just how to handle a firearm, but how to make your home less attractive. What they can do. We had a hard time this month finding the ammunition we need for our center fire night. It's not just our guns. We can all keep our guns, that would be great. What happens when they take the chances for us to find ammo on the shelves away? How am I going to train people to stay safe?
Reload.
Reloading is nice, but I'm telling you what, there's no powder at Bi-Mart. So it's something to think about. It's not just a sport. It's not just those of us who like to go out and drill little tiny holes in targets or break trap. It's people who want to stay alive, protect themselves, their families, their homes. My neighbors don't have a sign that says their home is a gun-free zone. And there's a reason for that. Something to think about.
Hey, my name is Sean, and this is my son William. And I'm here today because I am a father of 3 sons. And I'm not so much worried about where I'm at today as much as the kind of country that he's going to grow up in. Here we stand in the city of Salem, in the state of Oregon, in the United States of America, the only country on God's green earth with a Second Amendment. Now, the Second Amendment is not about hunting squirrels. The Second Amendment is not about defending your home, though it covers these. The Second Amendment is about allowing the people to provide a deterrent to tyranny. Now, how much of a deterrent is one rifle? Let's be honest, it's not much. Me and my son William, we go hiking, and you know, if we were out in the desert and we came across one fire ant, it's not much of a deterrent. With my tyrannical boot, I can stomp on one ant. Now, what if we come across 2 ants? Well, the same thing. Maybe he'll stomp one and I'll stomp the other. But if I come across a hill of 1,000 fire ants, at some point I say, I don't think we're going to walk here. It's not about one of us. It's about all of us. We do not feel or disheartened about the national dialogue right now, because we're going to stand. We will not capitulate. When you hear a politician say something like, oh, well, we need to keep the weapons that were made for war off our streets. No, that is the purpose of the Second Amendment. It is not for shotguns. It is not for pistols, though it covers those. It is about allowing me and my son and his sons to stand up. It is about freedom. It is about liberty. It is not one of us. It is all of us. God bless America.